Blessings, quantum family. Thank you so much. This just warms my heart to have you all join in this. Truly is a celebration. This has been quite the journey, bringing this book into form. And gosh, I think this was like a year. It's been almost a year and a half, I believe. I think it was probably May and correct me if I'm wrong, Serena. I think it was May of 2023, or maybe even.
Actually, we started about the end of January in 23.
Okay, so it's been
We
a
made the plan.
minute.
Yes,
Okay, so
been a while.
it's been a while. So I wanted to create a book, just with pretty much, I mean, gosh, going back even for some of you that have Transcendence, my first book, I wanted to pull parts of that and ascend it to the frequency that I was in now, and then add in everything that I had created up till that point. And so I literally copied and pasted every little piece of material that I could find and put it in this massive document. And Serena she is an author and she also is an editor. And so and she's been in my classes since the beginning. So I just was like, gosh, she's the perfect person to have come in. She had no idea what she was saying yes to. And I basically gave her this huge thing and was like, let's make this into a book. And she agreed. And it was a lot. So I'm going to just leave it there, Serena, and let you kind of talk about your story of taking this pile of information and actually bringing it to life.
Well, I think you said it well, and that it has been quite a journey. And of course, at the beginning, it was just a lot of pieces of really good things, but some of it was duplicate. And it was just, at first went, oh my God, what have I signed on to? I really did. And I think you and I talked about that. But, as I honed it and refined it here and found the duplications. And it started to, all of a sudden, I mean, it was for a while, it was like, oh my goodness, will I ever see this as a book? And then, almost like somebody waved a magic wand over it at one point, probably 6 months into it, I thought, oh my goodness, it's really happening. And it continued to, as I did more and more with it, I mean, every time I went through it, it was a good 20 to 30 hours at first to go through the whole thing. And what became easier to find things that didn't go with things later was when I could read it faster because it was in better shape. It was starting to have form. And so as it got form, I could read half a book in a day and that kind of thing, and get through it, and then find things that were duplicates and things like that, because some of what you sent was from different courses where you had the same information in each of them. And so it would be initially, it would be like, I think I've heard that before, but it would be something I read 2 months ago. But then later it was like, oh, I know what chapter that's in, and I could catch it. And it just got, and I was still making corrections 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just in terms of clarifying, my goal was to never do anything to take away from your message, but to make it more understandable. And that was my absolute commitment to it. And I'll tell you, joined with Spirit on the right at the beginning, and this was just a divine assignment.
Mhm.
It really was. And I am grateful for it. It was arduous at times, but I really feel like it was just an amazing journey in terms of, wow, look what happened just by sticking to it, sticking on course. despite how it looked hard sometimes, it just staying with it. And then all of a sudden, then magically, we have this really, I think I'm very proud of, very wonderful book that has so many aspects of the program. And I think it'll be helpful to everyone who grabs it.
Mm, thank you for that. Yes, there was many a times where I just was in awe of what you were able to do with what I gave you. And so this BioQuantum is just that. It is the journey, the foundations of really every piece of work up th to a point where we kind of dabble into DMT. And so my goal in this of why I wanted to bring this into a book was that anybody could pick up a book and learn the foundations of holding consciousness in the quantum body and start to experience what that is and have a tool to not only learn how to do that, but also tools of how to actually live that way. So a little bit of the what this book has in it is it's all the way through the foundations. It talks about cell ascension. It talks about the different levels of the body that we will experience connected to consciousness, all the way to really going into the how the body is operating in each of those levels. And I went back and forth of whether or not I put that in, and I did. I ended up putting it in. And then towards the end of the book, for those of you that read my first book, I up leveled it. So I actually go through ascension of the chakra system, and which I was actually looking through just a little bit this morning, trying to pick out what I wanted to read from the book. And I was like, gosh, this is so good. It's so good. We're just ascending it all. And then, of course, at the end, we have, I'm not sure how many there are, but there's actual, you could say exercises or processes. I think there's a 30-day process that you can go through to test your mastery of consciousness in the quantum field. And there's a manifestation one, and I can't remember what all there is, but there's some really fun that is for those of you that have experienced the hourglass method way back in DQ Abundance. There is the hourglass method that is also in the book. So at the end of the book, there's a lot of ways that you can actually experience the work while being held in the container or the field of the frequencies that we teach in the book. So, with that, Serena was going to pick one of her favorite parts of the book and read it. And then I'm going to do the same. And then we'll open it up to discussion. And then we're going to do a unified activation as well, just to I don't know, just to celebrate all of you, really, because none of this would be possible without my family. And it just means so much to me that we get to do this together. And there's nothing better than sharing an ascension journey with masters. And each and every one of you is that. And it just fills my heart. And I'll just stop talking and let you take over, Serena.
Well, I actually have two, and they're pretty quick, but I just couldn't decide. Um, because I started with, one of my favorite things in the book is the chapter on spiritual discipline, which is chapter 2, and was one that I actually asked to have put in the book, and it became really important to me, and it continues to teach me. And so I've just got a little bit of that that I really love. And then I have a little exercise from the DMT part way into the book that I really love too. And I think everybody will appreciate. And that's really quick. So here's a part of spiritual discipline that this is what really continues to feed me because I was someone who always thought if something didn't feel good, it was a signal or a sign from the universe not to go further. So this is what we've come up with instead.
Mm.
Most guidance is the exact opposite of what your ego mind would have you do. This is where spiritual discipline becomes critical. Learn to see thoughts, emotions, and whatever is going on within as information instead of relying on them to make your decisions. When operating from mental programming and emotion, you may be inclined to say no if a choice seems uncomfortable. In following spirit source guidance, you could find yourself in uncharted territory in situations that seem foreign. Following the intelligence brings you into an abstract frequency where you have no way of seeing your end result. You discover something that you have never created before. This is when spiritual discipline becomes critical. It asks you to surrender to divine guidance. Instead of searching for safety or an answer based on emotion or in mental programming, you are invited to stay out of the filing cabinet of what may have worked for you in the past. Spiritual discipline asks you to stay on course no matter how things feel. You may need to take a moment to reset before moving forward. Because something doesn't feel good does not mean it's not your right course.
Mm.
I could read that daily and get something further from that part. It's just such a thing. And then there's this little exercise that I loved it's actually in chapter 15. The chapter is using frequency of DMT through cell ascension with DMT codes. And there are some exercises that Jules put in that section that I just thought were different than what I'd heard in any class. I mean, they're using the codes, but I love this one in particular. And I think most people will find it really helpful. Shift from accessing energy through food, drink, or supplements to feed the body. Before eating or drinking, go within the cells of your body and turn on DMT codes. Bring in DMT codes 4 and 5 into the pineal gland to activate the frequency of the quantum body, to have energy without the need for food or sustenance. First, bring in the three symbols one at a time. See the loo move the cells into no space, no time. The ska allows consciousness to be held in no space, no time within the electrons of the cells. And scalar 33 activates source intelligence. Second, see DMT codes 4 and 5 come into the pineal gland one at a time. Allow each to spin, activating every cell of your body. Sense this happening in your body. Next, allow the frequency of the DMT codes to move into your food or drink. See the frequency of the intelligence neutralize or dissolve the identity you have around needing food, water, or energy in, energy out. It doesn't mean you will not eat or drink. You are upgrading your body to use energy in a more efficient way, using the other 90% of your potential. Now eat and drink as the expression of energy through source intelligence or the DMT codes.
That was good. I forgot about that one. I think
Love
somebody actually asked about how we could use them in food, and well, there it is. I already wrote about it. So it's funny how we forget some of the things. So thank you. That was a good one. Now I'm like, ooh, was mine as good as yours?
Oh, no, 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 no. It was so hard to find what one to.
I know it is. It's hard. So I went to the equation of the ascended body, breaking the matrix, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. I was kind of uh, just thinking, okay, what do I want to do? Because this is one thing about this book is I just think it's as important to share. And I just honestly, you guys just fill my heart so much because I created this with you. I mean, it came through and we did this together. I mean, some of you literally have since 2020 were in my first DQ class when I was like, I didn't even know if I was going to be able to do it. And then it just kept coming. And every time I thought, oh, this is the last piece, it was like, nope, here's more, here's more, here's more. And for those of you that were in my bio performance class, that was kind of the I don't know, it was like a bow just got put on the top and I had every piece that I needed for the ascended body. And this book is literally that whole journey up through a little bit of DMT because DMT is so complex that it will be its own book at some point. But um and I'm going back and I was reading some of this and I was like, wow, I really am not that easy to understand. Now I feel like I understand it. So it's like I embodied it, and now that I have the last piece, it feels very embodied. Like it's not abstract at all, right? But when I would go back and I was reading some of these, I was like, gosh, I was putting words to things that were so abstract that no wonder I was hard to understand because it was just such a I mean, how do you put words to something like that? And so, for those of you that have come in the last year or so, you've got a little bit of that, but trust me, you got the better end of it. Okay, so I'm just putting that in mind as I read this because I was reading this and I was like, man, yeah, I put into words that something that now I would probably say differently, but it's so good, it just holds the frequency. So here it is. The electrons of the quantum body are not negative or positive, are not an element, and are not in form. Electrons hold a frequency that can be used to create a pattern of intelligence within the quantum body. Electrons hold your consciousness. The body is an intelligence of source. When the electrons connect to DMT, source intelligence, the body runs frequency patterns like a circuit. It is able to run millions of circuits, each giving different information and frequency from source intelligence. The electrons ascend into the quantum body and create a gateway for the body to identify from form to frequency through an organic grid system or quantum divine technology. The grid system is the ability to hold intelligence in a frequency as consciousness shifts from identifying in the primal body to the quantum body. Electrons play a significant role in becoming BioQuantum, the advanced human. As you break the matrix, the quantum body activates an organic technology to move you out of the illusion of the programmed body and attunes your consciousness to what you are becoming. Electrons exist without existing in consciousness, but hold consciousness and expression, meaning they are conscious beyond the observation of their reality. And oh my gosh, you guys, that is just so high level. I mean, really, like for us to be sitting here and observing the body without observing through programming is the ability to be in the quantum body, is to identify in frequency or to identify outside of something that is programmed. And that is the essence of this book. It's giving tools of how we can use reflection by not creating another reality of programming, but to actually ascend beyond the reality that is programmed. And that is what it is to become bioquantum. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and remove our pins. Or here, I think I can just go here and go to gallery and just invite if there's any feedback or any questions before we go into the activation slash unified field celebration that we can all bring our energies together. Yes, Kathy.
I was so excited that I had to get the book as soon as it came out. And what I did when I got the book is just turn to a page. And the thing that I turned to was one to the two to the three. It's what I needed for that day. So it's going to be fun for you to get the book. So that's just what I wanted to say.
I love that you are using it that way because if I had the book, because I ordered an author's copy, it's taking a lot longer to get here, unfortunately. But so I didn't actually have the book yet. But that's what I wanted to do to pick my reading was to just open it up and see what came through. And so I think that's a wonderful way of using the book is what do I need to work on today? And just open it up because every paragraph can be sat in and ascended upon because there are so many different levels. And I thank you for saying that because it's kind of reminding me of when all of this technology was coming through, and remembering that this is a technology and the technology is already in us. We're just awakening it and learning to hold consciousness within it. But the way the material that came through was a very much like a spiral, meaning that the frequency of the material can be hit at different levels of consciousness, and you're always going to get something out of it. So, whether you're well advanced into your mastery or you're just starting to walk your path of mastery, depending on where you are on that frequency spiral, you're going to get something completely different out of the material. And I think that's is just a really fun way of approaching it. So it's something that you can read, but then just like what Kathy was saying, go back and actually sit in the material in different states, depending on where you are consciously, because you're always going to be evolving in that for that reason that you will always receive the information in any way. Okay, so does anybody else have a share or a comment before we move into the activation? So the link, if you would like to get the book, is in the chat, and it would just be such an honor as after you play in the book to leave us a review on Amazon because that really helps us get the book out there, and those reviews just mean everything to us. So that would be super helpful as well. And we are going to pull a couple of names for to where you can receive a signed copy. So stay tuned for that. We're just gonna randomly pull. I think I'll just like shut my eyes and land on somebody. So we'll do that here after the activation. And so you'll know right now if you're going to get a free book or not. So hold off on ordering until we get done with that. And Serena, am I missing anything?
The only thing I would just say really quickly, and you've had a shade of it already expressed, but this, I don't see this as a book that you sit down and read the whole book in like a weekend or something.
Mm.
It's more of a look at the contents, depending on what your experience is with it, opening it up like Kathy mentioned, or reading a chapter at a time, because there's just so much there that, even as someone who was familiar with it, once I got it together, I couldn't go through the whole book at one time, even if I spent 8 hours straight. I would often work a whole day at a time on something, but I could never read much, a whole book. I think I made a half a book in a weekend once, but it was just too much. You start blurring out the content and not really taking it in. It just becomes words that you're not even processing if you do that, because this is really a lot of information. it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to have if you're on the platform. Yeah.
Thank you. It is, you guys, this is, yeah, I mean, it's really, this book holds everything from transcendence, but ascended. Maybe not everything, because if you, those of you that actually read that book, it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's, it was where I was in 2015. It's hard to believe that was almost 10 years ago. Oh my gosh. But I took the best parts and ascended them, and it's in this book. So really, this is my journey since Rob passed away, is this book. And that's I always say there was my life before Ormus, and there was my life after Ormus. And this everything that has come through as really started, of course, with Rob passing away, but it got really dialed in when I started introducing Ormus to my life. So shout out to Rob and shout out to Ormus. Hi, Pat. Go ahead.
I also got the book and started it, and I just want to thank both of you because it's really a tremendous piece of work. And with the class, what I love about, well, there's a lot of things I love about it so far, and I have not, you're right, it's not a one day sort of 6 hour, 8 hour read. It's so chock full of information as far as things to do and things to help you, but then it weaves together in a way that I'm gaining a better understanding of the process overall. Because a lot of times I'll approach it class by class. So I'm learning this and I'm learning that, and they're not always tied together. And you guys have done a beautiful job, not to create a narrative, but sort of because I don't want to say it's a story, but sort of a way to pull it together. So everything that I have learned so far, and then new stuff, is just woven beautifully, and you feel like it's a very rich piece of work. It's very, very rich. As you know, there's tons of things to learn and to know and to grow with.
Thank you. I hope you brought that into your heart, Serena, and just received that.
That was beautiful, Pat. Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm just so excited to have it in my hands so that I can, because it's much different reading it in a Google Doc than it will be to be in a book. So I'm excited to get my hands on a copy as well and just play in it. Okay, does anybody else have something that they want to share before we? So my idea behind this was to kind of activate the quantum body, activate, maybe I'll pull some DMT codes if I have a deck here. Oh, maybe I don't have a deck here. Does anybody have a deck close by where they want to pull a couple of cards? I don't know where my deck is. It must be in my room, my bedroom.
Oh, Kathy's going.
Oh, okay. How about Kathy, you pull one, and then Elizabeth, do you want to pull one too? And then if anybody else has a deck, if we could pull 3 cards, that would be okay. And then we'll have Linda and Faye, and we'll do 4 cards. Each of you pull 1 card. So we have an 11. Linda and Faye, if you want to go ahead, and then Lisbeth, whatever, if you want to pull one as well, and then those will be our 4.
Still had my 8 on my money with my
A 5,
pull that in.
33, and oh,
No.
that's not it.
We could do the evolutionary symbol, maybe. Let's see if this
Okay. Oh, and another 11. That's okay. Let's do the 2 11s. So we're going to do 2 11s, a 5, and a 33. So we'll just do 11, 5, 33, knowing that we'll just say the 11s are bookmarking it. So 11, 5, 33, 11. Oh, the triangle. Yeah. Oh, I love that. So Sandra was just saying the 1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 1. So it's the 11 to the 5 to the 33 to the 11. is the one. All right, I love that. So fun. And you guys will learn that in the book if you don't know it already. Okay, and all right, so the idea is we'll activate those codes in the quantum body, and then my intention in this is to connect us as a soul family. And if there is something that you're working on that you would like to ascend, then we'll have an opportunity to put that into the quantum field, and then to put really the technology. The book is holding a technology to put the technology in the quantum field, and that it finds those that are ready, and that our family grows, and that quantum field gets stronger, and that we all connect in that space that is of source. And that's what it's all about, right? And the more of us that are holding the frequency of source and living from that way, and however we find it, it's not that you have to find it through this book, but this is one opportunity, and that we connect heart to heart, and that we're here to support those that are looking for soul family, because I know there's so many out there that are ready to connect, and that we open our hearts up to those people and invite them into our lives and connect in that way. So that's kind of the intention that I wanted to hold with this today. So with that, sorry, I will turn this off. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and hands on heart if you would like. And we will go ahead and just attune the body by breathing in that white blue light, allowing it to trace along the brain, down through the spine, and out through the mouth. And just breathing. And again, allowing that light to trace along the brain, moving to the base of the spine, creating a beautiful wave as it enters the heart space, ascending the heart as it moves into the blood and ascending the blood. Feeling your body raise to that frequency of source, or 963. And one more breath as you breathe in, allowing the light to trace along the brain, moving down to the base of the spine, and creating that beautiful wave as it moves into the pineal gland. And just seeing this tiny little blue light, that white blue light in the center of your pineal gland. And just bringing all of your consciousness into this light, all of your thoughts, your awareness. And with that awareness, pushing that light out, feeling it expand to encompass the entire mind, your brain, releasing that DMT, or 963. Feeling that quantum body activate, turning on your divine molecular technology. Feeling every cell in your body move into expression. Allowing your consciousness to have the experience of your body as an intelligence, as the most advanced technology there is. And then we'll bring in that first code of the 11. Feeling that activate in every cell of our bodies. Feeling that as it uploads into our software system, turning on that frequency of the mastermind, Christ consciousness, the ability to hold consciousness beyond the matrix. And then we'll activate the DMT code number 5, creating a shift or a change, releasing the frequency of freedom. And then we'll activate DMT code number 33, that frequency of full BioQuantum, full mastery, the ability to hold consciousness outside the matrix, create as source in mastery. And then just connecting those back into the frequency of the 11 as we walk as masters, expressing our love, holding that light, the ability to truly be a way shower. And just allowing all those codes to work together, creating a frequency pattern. Allowing that to run through the divine technology of your body. And then just asking that this frequency amplify. And then if you'd like to bring your hands and just allowing that frequency to amplify even more as we connect into a unified field. Feeling the software systems connecting together, creating a field that holds the intelligence of Source. That within this field we are guided, supported, connected in the purest frequency there is. Releasing all ego, fear. Just allowing the purity of your divine operating system to connect to the purity of the divine operating system of your soul family and beyond. And we'll just be silent for just a moment, holding the intention to connect and create a frequency field of source intelligence. And then as this field is strengthening, if you have an intention that you would like to place into the field, just allowing yourself to have that intention now. We just ask that this field connect to all those that are ready, for those that are searching, and just pouring love into the field as it reaches those that are needing the vibration of love in their lives right now. vibration of grace, freedom. And if you'd like to add a vibration into the field, just feel open to do so now. And then within this beautiful frequency that's been created as a soul family, we just celebrate Serena for all the hard work she's put into the book of BioQuantum, and we just ask that it finds those that are ready. And then just noticing in your body what you're feeling, just feeling that frequency as it amplifies in connection with your family, and how powerful this field can become when we connect together as one. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes, knowing that the field will continue to strengthen and is there anytime you want to tap back into it. So with that, if anybody has a reflection that they'd like to share, yeah, go ahead, Serena.
I'd just like to make a shout out to Angie for all the beautiful color graphics in the book.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that.
This book has beautiful artwork in it. It's unbelievable.
Yes. Thank you for bringing that through. We love our Angie.
Thank you, Serena.
You're welcome, sweetie.
Kathy?
I got one word, and it's home.
Thank you. I feel that. Okay, well, let's do our drawing. I have 2 pages, so I'm going to do one drawing and I'm going to go to page 2 on my screen. At least I have 2 pages. And then I'm going to pick somebody from page 2. All right, so I'm going to shut my eyes and open. I gotta find my mouse. I'm afraid to move it. Oh, well, it can't be Angie. So, okay, take 2. Okay. Here I am. Kate, you won. Okay, so we have Kate, and now I'm going to go to page 2 and do this again. Okay. And Carrie. Let's see, Carrie, I'm not sure what your last name is.
It's Nathy. It's Carrie Nathy.
Oh, hi, honey.
Hi.
Okay, so you and Kate both got an autographed copy of the book. So we'll get that to you as soon as we can. I'm not sure how long it'll take because we have to order it through a different system and then get it to you. But just know that it will be coming at some point. So congratulations on that. And I just want to thank everybody for coming and celebrating with us. It just means so much. Do you have any last minute words, Serena? Go back to the home page here.
There we go. I couldn't unmute. Just grateful, you honored me a lot, Jules, but you need to be honored too. I mean, this material comes from it flows through you. And so I want to make sure that we honor, the fact that this is where everything came from and that this is the work that you have been doing for so long. And it just continues to give. And I'm very grateful for that. And I just appreciate everybody's support. We would really like to get this book out, because the main thing is to get it to spread, because this work is so important. So please do what you can to, give us reviews and such so that we can get it to many, because the more publicity it gets, the more people will be contributed to. And that's the goal.
Thank you for that. And thank you for that as well. I know sometimes it can be so when something is so personal and how much it's just changed my life personally, it's kind of like, well, I don't know what it is always for other people, right? And it's just nice to hear. It's nice to hear that. So thank you for that. Okay. Well, does anybody else have a share before? I just want to thank everyone for celebrating this with us. It really is just so exciting. And let us know your thoughts. And I guess that's all we have. Thank you so much. Big love to everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Much love.